Hey everyone, welcome back to Par for the Mind. This is my second episode. Thank you for, first of all, for all of those that took the time to view my first video and my introduction. And of course, thank you for those who subscribed to this channel. So every Friday, I'm going to try to attempt to put out a video every Friday, recapping either my golf game or talk about men's mental health. So we'll start with this week. As you guys can tell, it's off to a beautiful day, or so we thought, at Wingfield, I believe it's called, in Calgary. And yeah, so this day you'll get to see most of the first nine. And then as soon as we hit, I think the sixth or seventh hole, we got hit with some serious thunderstorms. Not once, but twice. And the second time was hail, so I couldn't really pull out the camera. And the winds were really strong, so my monopod wasn't really holding up. Here you'll see a really funny uh, three putt, I think, of mine. You guys will have a good laugh. Like really good approach. I think I got to this in two hits. I believe it was par four. So I'm going for a birdie here, and let's see what happens. And ooh, a little bit too much juice there. But wait, there is more. We'll do another one. Save for the par. Nope. So from a birdie to a bogey. So that's yeah. Anyways, that's me in a nutshell. Look, I haven't figured out the format I want to do for my videos just quite yet, to be honest with you guys. So I'm going to try this out with this voiceover and kind of give a really quick recap of the game I played on Monday. But yeah, like let's talk about golf. Like what am I using for golf clubs? I'm using the Tacoma 101s. I started using the TaylorMade RBZs I bought back in like frick, I think like 2007, 2008, I want to say, and then played a couple seasons with them, I think two or three seasons, and then got put into storage, aka my parents' house for the longest time. I think solid 12 years, 13, I want to say, and just like never touch them again. Anyways, I figured it'd be nice to have a nice set, a new set, and I came across the Tacomos, and yes, they are a direct-to-consumer brand. But you know what? I figured, look, the price was right. I wanted the TaylorMade 790s, but ultimately I figured that my swing was complete dog shit, and I just didn't want to spend that kind of money on a new set if I wasn't going to be good at it. So the been playing with the Tacoma 101s. Oh, there goes the win and taking down my uh, monopod. Thank you, appreciate that. Stupid monopod. Anyways, it's getting reset up. But yeah, so I wanted to have a new set, and they were well priced. I got the whole 101 set, including the three what's it called? The pitching wedges. So I guess the wedges. So 50, 52, 56, and 60 degrees. Ironically, I do not know how to chip. I'm terrible chipper. I either go Mach 14 across the green, or it like, you know, goes like 3 feet in front of me. Is this another three putt? Oh, yes, it is. Look at that. It's so embarrassing. I can't putt for it to save my life. Anywho, so that's what I'm using. Eventually, I'd like to get into the Mizuno's JPX 925s that I picked up from my buddy in Japan. I tried them out, and I fell in love with them. They're just as forgiving as the 101s I find, but they feel better, at least to me. So, hopefully this year or maybe next, after a couple more rounds, a couple more practice, and hopefully if I can afford a few lessons here and there, I will be able to get good enough to be able to use the JPX 925s when I go back to Japan, maybe in a year or two. We'll see. But yeah, while you guys are watching this, I want to get to kind of the topic of men's mental health. So everything seems right. Everything seems good. Uh, but truthfully, this week has been a really rough one for me. You I started off the week phenomenally. As you can see, I'm golfing with my friends, having a great time. But as soon as I got home, things kind of took a turn. Now, if you guys don't know, and I guess you guys wouldn't know, I do have two French bulldogs. One is Tony Bark, and the other is Pepper Paws. Pepper Paws is my baby. She's the youngest, and unfortunately, she's epileptic. And uh, later that evening at about 11 p.m., she had her first seizure after 45 days of being seizure free. And prior to that, she's been seizure free for 220 days. And it sucks, when you watch your baby go through a seizure, right? And then the way that works is that you have to put her on seizure watch for the next 24 to make sure that she doesn't have another one. Otherwise, it's considered a cluster. Sure enough, the following this on Tuesday night at 10 p.m., so 1 hour shy on the nose of the previous day, she had another seizure. They weren't long, thankfully. They were only about 13 seconds. And this one, she made it out. Oh, and here you get to see me switch from a driver to a 4 iron because I couldn't hit my driver to save my life. Anywho, so yeah, it took a dark turn. And for anybody who's dealt with seizure before, it's a tough one because, at least for me, I will always have that blood curdling scream that Anna, when she called out to me, my wife, when she had her very first one over a year ago. And this was the same situation. I was in the bathroom and then she called for me and she's like, "Hey, she's starting to have a go." And that causes a lot of anxiety and you never know when it's going to happen because it's idiopathic. And idiopathic means like there's no rhyme or reason for it. It's just something that just happens to them, unfortunately. And it was really tough. It's been really tough on us as a family. Obviously, we had a great break when, she had her really nasty set of seizures, cluster seizures back in Vancouver last year in October, and then was hospitalized. But then she became 220 days free of it. But that always remains in your mind, right? And that takes a toll on you. And unfortunately for us, it was just one thing after another, with Anna being busy with work, things were, getting busy. For me, I was trying to deal with that. And of course, at the moment, I'm not working. I got laid off here at the tail end of March. And so, I'm job searching and the job market isn't the hottest. So you're trying to keep positive. But of course, bills have to be paid, mortgages, credit cards, their foods, their, dogs insurance and all that kind of stuff. So while we're still in okay position, it does to, take a toll on you. And so this whole seizure, session was just another thing to add to our plate, and that impacts you quite well. On the bright side, this is a birdie putt potential right here on a par three. I think it was a par three, anyways. But yeah, so ultimately, you know, how do you deal with that? How do I deal with that? Dealing with her seizures is never easy. The anxiety is always there, the never not knowing when things are gonna happen. And then of course, like her well-being, most importantly, right? We're lucky that we have pet insurance, and oh my goodness, look at that. Horrible. But at the same time, it's difficult to kind of manage all these things when you have other things in life as well. To some extent, um, you know, I wouldn't say we're lucky or unlucky. It's just that we don't also have children, so that's quote unquote one more thing to kind of take off of our plate. But it's still challenging, right? You have the health of your pet, which you care and love so much for. How I manage that, obviously, golf has been a really great thing. And unfortunately, she had another seizure on Wednesday, and that really we had to hospitalize her. And on Thursday, she was in the hospital and ER for the rest of the day. Um, while she was at the hospital, you don't get to see it here, but I took an hour to go hit a bucket at the range, and that helped me a lot because it helped me focus. Golf has been a phenomenal thing for me because then I can focus on things like, hey, how do I swing? Am my dispersion, is it getting better? Or like, is my technique getting better? And I get to focus on something other than, what's rough on the outside. The other way I deal with a lot of that anxiety and that stress is I'm lucky to have a phenomenal partner, and I understand that not everybody's as lucky as I am, but I lean on Anna a lot, and it's good and bad, right? She's a very, very strong and resilient partner. She's gone through a lot in her life, um, but I'm lucky to lean on her, and I'm also all able to lean on my friends, like some of the guys you see here, like Kimmy, like Derek, um, and a few others, and I lean on them to not sometimes even have a conversation and hope to find a way to get out of that mindset, but sometimes just to have a conversation about anything else. For example, Kimmy's kid, Ollie, I call him my nephew, but he loves Pokemon, and so we end up talking about Pokemon stuff all the time, and that cheers me up because that makes Ollie happy, and Ollie and I love opening packs up together and stuff like that. So it's that's how I find ways to escape um, that anxiety, that stuff that's really negative, right? Oh, short putt, horrible. See that 3 putt. But yeah, the other way I find solace in managing my mental health or some of the darker days is really focusing on what went well. So I won't dive or emotionally dump on you guys on the things I'm not good at and what makes me tick from inside out. But one of the things I'm terrible at is never um, living in the now. I always live in the past and I always live in the future and never in the now. And it's very problematic because it doesn't allow me to look back positively, at least, and say, hey, I accomplished A, B, C, D. For example, um, in the video, you could see I had some really great opportunities for birdies and pars, and I ended up getting bogeys. And instead of being like, "Oh, hey, man, like, oh, dude, you're that's phenomenal. You got great approach. You landed on the green, or your second hit was on the green, or whatever it is, which you would have never done, a couple seasons ago." I I look back, I'm like, "Oh man, like that's it, right?" Instead, I should be like, "Oh wow, like that took me 2 shots. That's crazy. Second shot hit the green. I've never done that, and I'm working on my handicap and my swing, and like I'm 100 to 110, score type of player, and so I am beginning to get better at that, and I'm focusing more and more on how to uh, appreciate and be more grateful for the little wins, and it's really helped me through and put things into perspective for me a lot better than focusing obviously on the things that didn't go right. Things will always go astray, I feel like. And if I don't remind myself that I've achieved ABCD or I've done ABCD, that's been a really positive thing in my life and really impactful thing in my life, then what's the point, I guess, in some ways, right? So, anyways, we're coming up to almost to the end of the video here. And I just want to say, um, I guess the topic for today is really cherish those small wins that you have in life. I don't know what that might look like for you. For me, Pepper was 220 days, then 45, and then she got her cluster. But now she's, you know, um, hopefully broken out of that cycle, and hopefully we get back to that 200, or maybe we're lucky. Maybe we'll get to 365 days of her being, seizure free. In the meantime, I'm going to keep enjoying playing golf with my boys. Here, I sculled it right to the water, and that was my only mulligan for the day, so no cheating, but it was my only mulligan for the day, and it went a little right, a little over the flag, but, yeah, and this is the last hole, and that's, all I got for it, but, yeah, thank you again for watching, and I hope this is somewhat helpful to you. Leave some comments, hopefully not too much hate or whatever it is. Tell me what you guys want to talk about. I would love to have input. It's important. I want to have a dialogue. I want to have a conversation with you guys. And I think this is where we're going to be able to have a lot of good time and share, you know, um, some good things and bad things all together as a community.